Good morning, friend. It's Tuesday. It's the 28th day of January 2025. Like, how did we get here already? I have no idea. I'm sitting here with Yappy. Yappy is sequins, and you can change her colors. I think she's so cute. So anyway, I just wanted to say happy, beautiful day to everyone today. It's Tuesday in my world whenever you're watching this. And my name is Alexis. My friends call me Lexi. And I have so many of them here on this channel who I've met, who I absolutely adore. Adore. I mean, if I was in a room with these people, I'd never leave. They'd never get rid of me. And welcome. If you're new here, and if you're not, thank you for coming back. And today, I just feel great. Yesterday was a beautiful day. You can go back and watch my videos from yesterday and my video that I posted at midnight last night. And it just was a magical, beautiful experience and day. And, you know, I'm just riding on that wave and riding on that high still. And today I wanted to say, I've got my notes as always here in my little notebook. So I wanted to say, there's a quote, and it is, every action and interaction in our lives has meaning. And this couldn't be any more, truthful than this statement, because every interaction in our lives has meaning. Every interaction. You know, every day you meet someone, maybe by chance, you know, the person at the grocery store, maybe you ran into an old friend, somebody who gave you some information that you desperately needed in that moment. And you're like, oh my goodness. You know, and I believe that, you know, the Creator, whoever you believe in, I believe in God. I'm Catholic, born and raised. I believe in God. I'm not a devout Catholic, and there are a lot of things that I don't agree with. I have my own mind, and I believe that a woman's body is her choice and sacred. So I do believe that as a Catholic woman. But I believe that the Creator, God, Goddess, Mother above, whoever you believe in, pray to, higher power, if you believe in prayer, puts people in our lives for a reason. Sometimes it's just a season. And I believe that in my whole heart of hearts. I believe that. And God up above has proven that to me so many times. So many times. I had an interaction with a young lady. It's been, oh my God, 10 years now. 2025 will make 10 years. We went to school together. We were both getting our Bachelor of Arts as adults. And I went back to school when I was 45 to get my Bachelor of Arts degree in education. And I got it in educational studies from Belmont Abbey College here in Belmont, North Carolina, suburb of Charlotte. I love that school. It is Catholic based. I love that school. And we met, and she and I just ended up being really good friends, really good friends. She was a single young lady and younger than me, but not too much younger. And we just hit it off. You know, we just became fast friends. And after I lost my job back in 2014, I was laid off. My position was eliminated, and I spoke about that in another video. And she and I were still in touch, of course, and I didn't have a car. My car was repossessed in October of 2014 because I had lost my job, couldn't pay any more for my car. So my car was repossessed in October 26th of 2014. I'll never forget it. Zoe and I had gone out the day before to the mall and to run errands and to do a bunch of things. And the next morning, I said, "Oh, Zoe, I left something downstairs. Can you go check?" And she's like, "Mommy," she went down and she came back and she's like, "Mommy, the car's not there." I'm like, "What do you mean the car's not there?" And my heart stopped and I'm like, "Oh my God, was the car stolen?" And it was an old car. It wasn't stolen, but it was repossessed. And so this young lady took me around to look for cars. At that time, I was getting my master's degree. And so I was relying on my student loan stipend in order to take care of my family because I didn't have a job. And at that time is when I had just started to apply for disability. I was in so much pain. I didn't know why. I could barely walk and all of the above. And so she took me and we went, and she used to buy cars from different little places here that I didn't know anything about. And so she took me to a couple, and she took me to one, and I found the car. And it was $5,000. It was a Volvo, an XC90, gold. It was beautiful. And it was older and it had a lot of miles on it, but it looked like a brand new car from the outside. And she took me, and I negotiated, made the deal with the gentleman, and he's like, "Okay, we could sell you the car." And she was supposed to take me. Now, before this happened, she had introduced me to a few things. Like she knew that my body, that I was really suffering. So going to the grocery store, she, introduced me to the riding carts because I'd never used a riding cart. I always walked and with my shopping cart and everything. I never used any riding carts or anything because I'm a healthy, able-bodied person. I'm just having pain. I don't want to take that away from somebody. And she's like, "That's what they're here for." So she introduced me to that. She introduced me to a way to get money from my student loan at the bank that I didn't know about. So she's like, "Yeah, this is how you can get the money withdraw so you can have it for your car and what have you." So she taught me that. She taught me so many little things that I didn't know during that time. And I had known her for the previous 5 years. And so she really taught me these things. And when she took me, to the car place and everything. And so we made the arrangement, and there was a date that I was to go back and pick up the car, do the paperwork and all of that. And she's like, "Okay, and I'll be here to pick you up." She called me the night before. "I'll be here to pick you up. Make sure you have this, and this because you're going to need it." And like, "Okay, thank you for reminding me and telling me." And the next morning, I get up super early. I'm pumped. I'm getting ready to go. And she doesn't show up. I text her. I've been texting. No response. I call, and I'm like, "Dear God, I hope nothing happened to her." And I keep calling and calling, no response. Finally, she texts me. And she says, and I'm just paraphrasing because it's been 10 years, her aunt's husband, not her uncle, her aunt's husband, passed away and she had to go to South Carolina. And I don't know her full family history. I knew both of her parents were deceased. I know that she did have a sibling. I didn't know if she had any aunts or relatives or anything. But no, I knew her and the kind of person that she was, and she was not reliable. She wasn't. But during this period that I needed her, for those couple weeks, she was very reliable. I didn't have a car. She took me grocery shopping, took me to look at the cars, told me how to get the money out of the bank, introduced me to the riding carts, all of this. She was very reliable for those 2 weeks. But I knew back in my mind from knowing her for the previous 5 years, she's not a reliable source, not a reliable person. But I'm like, okay, well, maybe things are different now, and something just said to me, she's not going to show up, even though she called me that night before. And so after we finally got to each other, texting her constantly. And she said that to me, and I'm like, well, I understand. I'm so sorry for your loss, I said to her, and I understand this is devastating. You made an arrangement with me, and I don't expect you to be here to take me, but I know in that moment you weren't thinking. But the kind of person that I am, and I guess because I'm older than her, you know what I mean? My mother passed away. I was so worried about everybody else and doing, which is what transpired in the chat and the video that I posted midnight. That had significance and that resonated with me. I'm always putting other people first. And that was true. And I always do. My mother passed, and I was so worried about everybody else and getting the news to everybody. I was devastated. I could barely speak. But I made the commitment to make sure that everybody else was taken care of before I took care of myself. And whether that's a good trait or a bad trait, I don't know. That's just me in a nutshell. You know, it's just me. And it always has been. I'm always worried about someone else's feelings or whatever, when most times people could give a rat's ass about mine. But that's just how I am. That's how I've been raised. That's how I've always been empathetic to other people. And so that's just me. So this quote, I saw this quote a couple days ago, and I said, I'm going to have to speak about that and do a video on that. So the young lady never showed up. From that day, okay, I think it was July of 2015, when we were finally going to get this car, because I lost my car in October of 2014, and I didn't have the money or the means to get a new car until those many months later. And I've never spoken to her from that day to this day. And that was the first time that I understood the meaning that people are in our lives for a reason and a season. And don't take it personal if somebody stops talking to you. You know, like I mentioned in my episode yesterday about the friendships and about my cousin not speaking to me. I can't, and as Mel Robbins says, I know I'm going in circles here, let them do them. You know, I can't worry about it. I can't be upset about it. I know that I did nothing wrong in my heart. There's nothing that I've done. So that's on them. You know what I mean? That's on them. And so this quote made me think of that young lady and think of, that was the first time ever that the Creator said to me, listen, I'm going to put some people in your life who are here to help you, right now, because you needed this information. That lady was there to help you with that information, and that's it. And now she's gone, and that's it. She was only here for a reason and a season, and I understand that. So this quote, every action and interaction in our lives has a meaning. It does have a meaning, whether it's short term, whether it's long term. I know that the recent interactions that I've had through this platform and through this channel, those interactions are long-term interactions, and those people will be with me for the rest of their lives and the rest of my life, because I'm not letting them go. And the two people who have really made an impact on me during me relaunching this and coming back to this platform on January 5th are Nancy from A Crone's Intuition and Sally from Sally's Reality. I just love those two women. They mean so much to me. And I know that interaction, that me meeting those two people means the world to me. I mean, they are so... Yesterday, I'm wearing this today because yesterday they were both like, you look so beautiful. And that just made me, just bursted my little head open. I said to my daughter this morning, she had a training to do today and she had to leave early, so I had to drop her off. So I said to her this morning, I says, she's like, oh, mommy, you look so pretty. And I'm like, well, thank you. It's all because of Nancy and Sally, because they said I looked beautiful. I've got to keep this up now and look beautiful in every Lexi Talk that I do on this channel. So I've got to get it together. I've got my diamond earrings in today. I mean, I'm just doing it today. I am. So, but I just wanted to say that, I just wanted to say that every action and interaction in our lives has a meaning. And everybody who I have met on this platform means the world to me. The world to me. And in just a short amount of time, I I always radiate, and I know that about me. I just radiate happiness and joy all the time, because what sense does it make to always be down in the doldrums? I've gone through depression and I've suffered with that, and anxiety, and so has my daughter. And I never even knew that I had such a thing. When I lost my job this last time, that really took a toll on me. And the depression, I mean, I was just here, you know. I went one time a month, I didn't bathe. I stayed in my ratty nightgown. I just stayed in my room. It was not healthy, and it was not good. And I decided that I've got to get myself out of this funk that I'm in. Woe is me. I didn't have a job. I didn't have money. I didn't have a car. My poor daughter was missing out on so many things because she had just passed her driver's ed exam when the car was repoed. She had just gone through driver's ed, and we were getting ready to start driving, her getting her learner's permit. And that was 10 years ago. And so hence she does not drive today. She knows how. She doesn't have her license. So we're working on that. And that's something that we will probably work on this year or next year, the beginning of next year. I don't press her. She's not comfortable right now. She's going to be 27 in March. And I don't press her because, everybody has their own time. The young people of today are impressed like we were. I couldn't wait to get my driver's license. I was 15, I was driving. I got my license at 17. I didn't get my license until I graduated high school. My mother's like, yeah, because you don't need to be driving to school and doing all of that. So the day I graduated, I was like on it and constantly practicing. My mother was a driver's ed teacher back in the 70s. And my mother taught me how to park. We would go, she would, every day, my mother would come home from work, she would be exhausted, but she would say, let's go. We would get in the car. My mother had a cherry red Mustang, which ended up being my car when I got my license. I loved that car. And my mother taught me how to parallel park, how to do everything, which we don't even do that anymore today, not really. And I passed my driver's test with flying colors. And most of my friends had to take the test 2 and 3 times, and I passed it on the first time, the road test and the written test. And so she's not ready. And today, you don't need to drive. There's Uber, there's Lyft. You have your friends. You don't need to worry about that. If you live in New York, if we were in New York City, she wouldn't be driving. She'd have the subway and the bus, and you walk everywhere. Here in the Carolinas, it's a little bit different. It's a little difficult. You do need transit. You do need a car. I would say that. I mean, we do here in South Charlotte, we do have buses. There's a bus stop right in front of where I live, but that's not always reliable, and it doesn't get you to where you have to be in a timely fashion. And on a weekend or a holiday, it's not reliable. So, and we don't live close to, we do have the train, but we don't live close to it. So you have to drive to the train to get on the train, and it only goes certain places. So, driving, I do all the driving, which I love. I've loved driving since I was 15 years old. I have loved to drive. So I'm looking forward, to her being able to do that on her own. But this morning, getting up and taking her like I do, it gets me out of the house, and I love it. But I'm so happy for this day. Every day I wake up and I'm just happy to be here. I am blessed to be here at 60 years old because some of my friends didn't make it. And a lot of classmates of mine are not here today. So I am so blessed. We are so young and so vibrant. And, there's so many things still to learn and do. And these friendships and these connections that I've made here are so meaningful to me and mean the world to me. And, as I know that I have meant the world to so many people. And I'm just grateful. This platform is literally changing my life, changing my life. And it has nothing to do with being monetized, because I'm far from that. I don't have a dime coming in from this channel. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I don't have brand deals like the little girly pops. I don't get PR packages, any of that. I'm just happy to be here to interact with every one of you beautiful people that come here to look. Even if you're just peeking in, I'm happy for that, because you've become aware of me, and maybe you'll be like, you know what, let's go back and see what that lady's talking about, and I'm so grateful for that. I really am. I have a lot to say. As you can tell, I love to talk. I have a lot to say. I'm very chatty. But I wanted to share that today. So today's mantra is, let's do it again. Every action and interaction in our lives has meaning. And I hope you think about that the next time you run into someone, or someone who you haven't spoken to in years, and you're thinking about them, and then the phone rings and it's them. Those are God whispers, and I totally believe in that. And people are just put here for you. Look at, Sally and Nancy found me. I don't even know how. I don't even know how this situation works. Like, where am I? Who is actually seeing me on their channels? And I'm so grateful that they saw me, and everybody else on here who has saw me, or who has come to me because Nancy or Sally, and they recommended me, and this platform. I am so grateful to my friend from school days from the Virgin Islands, who has graced me here with his presence. To my friends, I've asked people, they have these videos, don't get your family, and don't ask people to follow you, and blah, blah, blah. And that may be true, because it's not organic. They're not coming through the YouTube algorithm of people seeing you and finding your channel. But I put it out there on my Facebook, and only one person really responded to that. And I put it out there, and I'm like, I have almost 800 Facebook followers there and friends. And I'm like, follow me here, help me build this channel. And of course, nobody did. They're nosy. So I'm sure they're over here looking and saying, what is she doing? What is she talking about? Whatever. But, they won't respond. And that's fine. I don't need them to, because I know that there are so many people here that are meant for me to meet and have an interaction with. The collective here is strong. So I don't really need those people. I'm grateful for the people who have found me here, the beautiful souls that have found me here, who are in my life now forever. Forever and ever and ever. So that's it for today. That's the Lexi Talk for today, in my little outfit, which is another gift from my best friend who lives here in Robbins, North Carolina. She is my daughter's godmother. We have been friends since I was 19 years old, and she's about 8 years older than me. And I've always had friends. Most of my friends have been older than me. I have a lot of younger friends too, but a lot of my friends who are not in my age group are older than me. And I think I gravitate towards older people, especially because my mother had me, fun fact, my mother had me when she was 33, and I'm an only child. And I had my daughter when I was 33, and she's my only child. And so that in itself is just, that's something, you know what I mean? And so I cherish, my mother was my first best friend ever until the day she died. It was just she and I, like this and my baby. And so I cherish my female friendships, and especially my older female friendships. They mean the world to me. So I thank you for stopping by and having this little chit chat. Next time we need to have some tea. I'm going to have some tea or something so we can sip on some tea and have our little combos next time, or some little treats or something. We're going to have to do that. We have to plan something so that we can bring a tea. So for my next video, grab a cup of tea and watch with me. And maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I'll have to see if I can get it together. We'll do it tomorrow. So happy Tuesday, or whatever day you're watching this. I hope that you are having the most amazing day ever. And to quote Miss Tabitha Brown, who I love and adore, but if you're not, don't go around messing up anybody else's. So on that note, I want to say deuces. And you know that I don't even have to say it, but I'm going to say it. Love you plenty.